Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm getting ready.
Just wait for people to arrive before you really pop off.
Pop the old
champagne.
unicorn
Guys,
champagne.
Those of you who have joined us for Coaching Light before will know that the unicorn popper is a clutch part of.
This is the best. Ooh,
This
what if
really
I shoot
gets
it
you-
at them? That's dangerous. It could take this whole thing down.
Don't do it towards that.
But I have to. It's like, I'm like a little kid. Like I have to do it. Ready?
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Woo!
Oh,
Bum,
guys,
bum, bum,
that-
bum.
that
So
went-
satisfying.
That went so far. All right, we're gonna just cut the chit chat. We're gonna get right into it because we value your time.
Whoa.
We know you're having a busy day.
Do you want to tell them about our fancy teleprompter?
Yeah, I printed out my notes on a piece of printer
So if
paper,
we're looking down
and
here-
Jason has very precariously kind of positioned it so that it's like up so we can see it. We have like a whole system going on here,
Yeah.
so just appreciate that, Well, today we are going to be talking about money mindset and selling. And so what we thought would be fun to share with you guys is 3 personal stories from our business journey and how maybe some limiting beliefs around money have held us back in the past. Let's be honest, it's mostly me. But really, it has been a journey. We wanted to share kind of some of those personal stories and then some of the lessons that we learned from those stories so that hopefully, if you are finding that you're coming up against some of those limiting money beliefs in your own business, that you can help break through those. And listen, disclaimer, if you've been following our stuff for any amount of time, you know that we are not all about the money. Like,
Oh
it
man,
is
I thought you were gonna say disclaimer. Everyone who watches this owes us like $2,000.
$1 million.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That's my second time saying $1 million. It's the only amount of money that I know in my head. But we're not all about the money. However, we do know that money is the thing that in our society makes the world go round. If you want to do what you love, yes, you need to make money. We're all about accepting that reality and trying to help you do that in a way that you feel really confident about it. But we just want you to know that we're not those coaches that are out there saying like, hey, you got to hit 6 figures just because that's the amount of money that we've all deemed is like makes you worthy as a business. No.
We're not a 6 figs fam, but we do realize that money is a means to a lot of things in your life. It's a means to satisfaction. It's a means to less
Peace of
stress.
mind.
It's a means to getting the damn groceries that you want. Listen, I want organic blueberries. I'm not going to settle for regular blueberries. I'm not going to do it.
Listen,
I'm not going to do it.
I'm worth it. I'm worth organic blueberries. There's one thing you take away. You better start
You
believing
are
that
worth-
you are worth organic blueberries. We have 3 short stories for you. The first story,
So the first story was your hand lettering course, which is your very first online course way back in 2014.
14.
And I had created, I think, 2 to 3 courses by that point, and you were getting into hand lettering and people were telling you that your hand lettering was great and you were doing little hand lettering projects for people, and you had this blog post that you wrote and it finally started to take off. And so you're like, okay, I'm gonna put this course together, but I really just don't know what to charge for it. And we had a lot of conversations about this, and I think I was like, $999. How much this course should be? It really wasn't that much. I was saying like, oh, like $100 or maybe $200. I don't know. I was just throwing numbers at the wind like you do. And you're like, I just don't feel comfortable. I feel comfortable charging $20 for this course because I think it's gonna be hobbyists. I think it's gonna be moms. I think it's gonna be people who just are trying to learn a skill, and I just also don't feel comfortable because I have only been doing this for a little while.
Let's be honest. Yes, I had all of the reasons, which was it's strategic. People are only doing lettering for a hobby and yada, yada. The truth behind all of that was I was so deeply afraid of charging anything more than that amount of money and somebody saying, this isn't worth that amount of money. I didn't get the value out of it. You disappointed me with your, like, these are real thoughts that I have, was disappointing people or not giving them their money's worth. And I was just at the beginning of my business journey, and it was really hard for me to accept the fact that my skills might be worth more than that. But the lessons I want you guys to take from that are kind of twofold. Number one, start to have an awareness and develop an awareness of when you are hitting up against one of those money blocks. Just what I told you about how the truth behind that was that I didn't want to disappoint people. Start asking yourself those questions. If you really cannot fathom raising your rates or raising your course price, ask yourself why. Like, what is the deeper purpose behind that? And that's going to give you a lot of insights into what are the deeper things that are holding you back there. The second thing is you're gonna get a lot of advice out there on money mindset that says, just go for it, like raise your price. And listen, we have stories here that definitely have that advice built into them, but I wanna offer you also to trust your intuition and to go, you know what, if I'm just starting out on my journey and I'm only comfortable charging $20 right now, give yourself permission to just start there. And yes, pay attention to what those blocks are, but the truth is I needed to be confident in myself first. I needed to have that first little bit of success in order to really value what I had to bring to the world.
Also, just to like put a bow on that first story, that $20 hand lettering course has gone on to make over $100,000. You can have success with a lower price thing, but you also just have to think about, I need to extend my timeline for that success if that is financial success. We we combined forces to create a business called Buy Our Future, which was a really crazy, silly thing we did for a year and a half. For those of you who are Buy Our Future members, who are now Waimers, you guys are awesome.
When was this, 2017?
This is 2017. And basically it was all of our stuff being packaged together. And so I don't think it was the first time we did it. The first time we did it, we just sold it at $1,500, I think, for the both of us.
Sure.
Maybe 2,000? I don't know. Don't remember what the
Details.
exact price was. But the second time we did it, we had been asked by a bunch of people who purchased from us, like, oh, can we get one-on-one coaching? Like, I really just need your help, like, with my specific business. And for me, I had done a little bit of this up until that point. And I was like, okay, well, maybe we add this in the next time we launch this program. And that additional kind of add-on, I said it was worth $1,500. And I remember we had a bunch of conversations, and this is a kind of a typical thing in our household that let's lay down on the couch and talk about this.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is what it's worth to me. It's worth it to me to have a call every quarter with these people to try and help them with their business for the next year at $1,500. And some of you may be thinking, that's not much. Some of you may be thinking, whoa, that's a lot. And whatever it is, you have these kind of limiting thoughts. And I just basically said, what's the worst that's going to happen? We put this up on our sales page.
You were like, so what if
no one buys? It's a $3,500 price tag with everything included. It's probably one of the most expensive things we've ever sold. If no one buys, it's fine. And we actually limited it to 5 spots. And funny enough, those 5 spots sold out in 48 hours.
Yeah.
And it was really weird for both of us because I expected 1 or 2 people and that was it. I think you didn't expect anybody. It was one of those things where we just did it with the assumption that it's going to be okay if no one buys this thing. And it's also going to be okay if people buy it. And then we can learn from that experience as well.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing was just telling ourselves, if nobody buys, that is not a reflection of our worth as human beings, or that nobody likes our stuff, or that we should just pack up shop and never, have a business again. It's not that. It's just, again, this experimenter's mindset. If you guys have been around us for a while, we view everything as an experiment. And so the things that I really want you guys to take from that story are, you don't know what something is worth until you put it out there. The thing about market economics is that things are worth what people are willing to pay for them. And you don't know what people are willing to pay for until you present it as an option. So give yourself the permission to put that out as an option, and then know that if nobody buys, it was an experiment. It does not mean anything about your worth. That's data that you're going to take forward into your business.
Yep. And you can also, one really good thing you can do is after you sell something, ask people why they didn't buy. And if you hear a bunch of people say that it was the price, then okay, maybe my audience that I have, I need to reduce the price or I need to change the price. So you get that data to be able to make that decision.
Yep. And then you do have to be willing to risk that rejection in order to find where that upper limit is. So if you are always just saying, oh, here's where I think the price is, if you never push that envelope and kind of put yourself out there and risk people saying, no, I'm not willing to pay that, you're never going to find where that sweet spot is. And you're going to be missing out on an opportunity for you to create abundance in your life that is out there existing for you, but that you're not having the courage in order to go out and find.
This is also for all of you client-based business owners right now, you designers, you writers, you developers, anybody who's been working with clients for a long time and your rates have been your rates and you've never changed them. It's so scary to raise your rates when you've never raised them before. And I remember what that was like when I owned a small design boutique, is what we called it, because there were 2 of us who wanted to sound fancy. And I remember when we raised our rates from $50 an hour to $100 an hour, it was scary going to our clients. But what we told them was, hey, we've gotten better and we can do our work faster actually. And we're not just trying to gouge you because we think that we're worth more money. We're doing it because our experience is there, our track record is there, and we know that we have more talent that we want to bring to you. And what you find is when you present that to someone, whether it's through a product or through a service, you get people who, if they already trust you, they already like you, they're already paying for you, they actually don't feel like you're upselling them or upcharging them. They feel like, yeah, you're worth this money. You absolutely are. And if they don't, then that's fine too. And we'll tell a story about that as well.
What happens when people say no?
Yeah.
And it breaks your heart, because we're not just here to tell you, oh, ask for more money and it always works out. It doesn't always work out. So when I was doing my hand lettering career, Adobe, yes, the big brand Adobe, reached out to me.
They make pottery for homes. Yeah, little pottery company.
Little old me, they reached out to me and said, hey, we love your work. We would love for you to do this for our conference. Can you send us a proposal of what this would cost? And I remember I was at this pivotal point in my journey where I was like, you know what? I value my time. I'm no longer charging $40 for 24 hours of my work. I'm going to give them a real proposal of how long I think it's going to take. I sent over the proposal, and guess what? Got rejected.
How much was the proposal for?
I think it was for something like $1,500 for this lettering project. And it's Adobe, right? They have the money. My guess is they probably went with another artist that charged them less, and that's fine. Of course, there was a pang of disappointment of man, there was this huge opportunity and I screwed it up or whatever. And then I was like, you know what? No. I had this moment where I was like, that was how much time it was going to take me. That was how much money I was willing to do it for. And the fact that they said no is okay, that wasn't the right opportunity. Jason has this saying, which is your next opportunity is not your last opportunity. You really have to cultivate this mindset of abundance instead of scarcity, which is there are plenty of opportunities out there. If you stand in your worth and it doesn't work out, that wasn't the right thing for you anyway. So that really taught me that lesson.
And money creates so much scarcity, especially when you work for yourself, because you're clawing for every dollar for so long. And even when you start to figure things out, you still feel like you have to work for every dollar. And so when something shows up out of the blue, it can feel like, oh, I have to grab this opportunity because it didn't exist. But that's the thing you also have to realize is that it didn't exist.
Yep.
And another opportunity like that, if you're continuing to show your work, to put your work out into the world, to keep creating, to keep pushing your own creative envelope, you will have other people show up for you and want to pay you. And the Adobes of the world, the people who are going to be looking for maybe the cheapest person that they can pay, and not to say that that was Adobe, but just in general, you're just going to run into those people, and that's okay.
So number one, do you think you're undercharging what you're worth right now? Are you in that $20 course hand lettering phase? And if yes, then why? Like dig in and ask yourself, what is the deeper reasoning behind that? And if you are, and you know you are, and you're okay with that, then just do it with intention and say, okay, what's my plan going forward? How long am I going to be at this rate before I allow myself to have the confidence to charge more? I think those are questions that you should ask yourself.
Second question, I got it.
Go.
What's the worst thing that could happen? So if you ask for more money, what is the absolute worst thing? They don't hire you. They say they don't want to pay that rate. I mean, it's really not that bad if you really write it out. And then also write out what's the best thing that could happen. Could that have you take on less clients or have you sell less things or maybe feel like you have to do less marketing and promotion if you actually charge a little bit more for whatever you're worth and you get people to pay that?
And then the final one, are you willing to experience temporary discomfort of rejection if it means standing in your worth and owning your confidence? And then we're just gonna let that one sit for you. You can go back and rewatch this, reread it. But before we hop off, we do wanna let you know that our Unboring coaching program is open right now. This month's theme is all about money mindset and selling. And so this was just the little baby tip of the iceberg. We have an entire 2-hour session all about money mindset.
It's like the horn of the unicorn.
That's right, it's the horn of the unicorn. Yeah. We've got the whole unicorn to take you through. If you're interested, head to wanderingaimfully.com/join. If anything else, we just hope that this shows you that, listen, we all struggle with money mindsets, and you deserve to earn a living doing what you love and providing value into the world. So
what else do you guys deserve?
Organic blueberries. Don't forget it.
Every single one of you. All right? You deserve them.
Remember that today.
Have a great day.
We hope you enjoyed this.
Quick little mini coaching sesh.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
See ya.